Hey y'all, it's your girl YtheG, and I'm just coming back with a different kind of vibe to my YouTube channel because I finally listened to what the people were asking, and I guess I'm really going to be sharing a lot of information on how I'm thriving through motherhood and the parts that I love about it, the parts that a lot of people don't talk about that would have helped me, and I'm sure a lot of mothers, if the conversation were to be had prior to getting pregnant. And I'm going to be bringing some information to you all, resources, and just some good energy, okay, and tips, because we all could use a little advice when it comes to mothering and parenting in general. So I just want to follow up with a reel that I just posted on my Instagram page, 3 things that I am no longer doing as a mother. Here's number 1. I am no longer buying my son, my child, my children character toys. Never, ever, ever, ever. I never did, and I never will. And it's because I want to show my children that they should never idolize anything outside of themselves. They shouldn't idolize characters or cartoons or figures, public figures, and we live in a society where we have an issue in doing that a lot. So I want to make sure that when I buy toys and things to entertain my son, that it's household items, that I use what's available in the house before I go broke trying to keep up with all the trends. I do really enjoy the Montessori way of parenting, but let me explain something to y'all, because this is a trend. But before Montessori existed, the indigenous way of life existed. The Aboriginal way of life existed, meaning we actually allowed our children into the spaces where we cohabitated in. So the kitchen, if a baby was in the kitchen with you and they were crawling around and they were curious to what you were doing, you were cooking, you were busy, you were preparing food, you would give the baby a pot, a pan, some spatulas, you know, some wooden spoons. You let the baby play with whatever items were accessible to you, because it wasn't that complicated. Now we call it something. Now there's a way of parenting. Now there's a way of teaching. There's a way of rearing your child. No, we've been doing that, okay? So I don't buy my child character toys. I actually just buy a lot of stuff at home for the home that I let him entertain himself with, and I create activities. I'm not gonna lie, I lose sleep on trying to find different activities to have my son wake up to and have him ready for him to be interactive with. So making a pot of bubbles and soap and putting little toys in it, like just little characters of like animals, things that are actually real. So right now my son is obsessed with shapes, so everything shapes and colors I'm trying to find, right? Whether it's like shape stickers so that he can maybe dig into some soil and find the stickers like on a platter, and in different ways. I'll be sharing some of those clips and some of those things on my Instagram and on YouTube, hopefully. Let me edit these videos for y'all. Number 2, I am no longer buying my son ever clothes that are his actual size. My son is going to be a giant. I actually come from a family of giants, and my co-parent is pretty tall himself. So I know my son, since he was a newborn, he was like above the average height. So I never used to buy him his actual size. And I feel even growing up, I think part of it was because my parents were trying to save money. They always bought a size up to ensure that we would wear the clothes for longer. So never buy the actual size. Even if you're gifting gifts that are clothes, which is a great gift to give to people when they have children, always buy a size up or 2 sizes up. They will thank you. Number 3, I am never, ever again questioning my intuition. My intuition really hit an all-time magical level when I got pregnant, and I finally actually embraced my intuition, and I respected it, and I knew exactly to never ignore it again, because my whole childhood it was suppressed. I was never embraced in listening to myself, as many of us are. Now we have different words to express ourselves. We have different words to know what we are experiencing, like having autonomy over your body, mind, soul, spirit. Yeah, so once I got pregnant, and I had a very like many, birth can be traumatizing, but although my birth was extremely beautiful, and I even had an orgasmic birth with my son, but then I had my daughter, I had twins. It turned into a very traumatic situation, and a lot of the things that I did during that experience was put people first, put other people's feelings first, put others' suggestions first, and I just kind of like sought out so much guidance and answers instead of questioning myself and just turning to spirit. So when I had hit all-time dark mode while I was grieving the death of my daughter, and now rearing my child while still breastfeeding my son while still healing myself, I knew to only ask myself what was right. I knew to only pray and ask for guidance and ask for answers and ask for clarity, because me questioning my intuition caused me my daughter's life, and listening to others people's suggestion or just not really following my gut in doing what was necessary and important to protect myself and my children and ensure that we had a very safe journey caused a lot of friction in my experience, in my human experience, and a lot of lessons that I had to learn, but I was put through an initiation of fire. And I will be sharing more about this importance, because we are bombarded with information. We are bombarded by people's opinions, with people's suggestions on how we should parent and how we should be mothers. Especially, we're very close to Creator. We're co-creators. We create humans. We are the vessels that continue humanity. So we should very much so be intentional about never ever ever questioning our intuition as mothers. Especially as mothers, we give birth to both men and women, so that means we clearly have a responsibility that we should take serious, and an honor that we should really highlight within ourselves. And we have exactly what we need and what it takes to be the best mothers that we can be. But we have to first listen to ourselves, because Creator is constantly communicating through us in our human experience as women. So that's number 3. Never, ever, ever, ever again questioning my intuition as a mom, as a woman. And I feel, even as a man, you too have an intuition, so you should never question it. It can cost you your life. Okay, so that's kind of like what we're gonna be doing here on this YouTube channel. I'm gonna be sharing a lot more of insights on how I am thriving through motherhood, and just kind of sharing tips and answering a lot of questions that have came to me as a intuitive birth worker, as a minister of birth. And a intuitive birth worker trainer. I tend to come across a lot of mamas and papas who have questions of, how do we do it right? How can we do it in harmony? How can we actually balance being ourselves and being conscious, present parents in today's day and age? Well, it's possible. You do need community, you do need resources, and you do need to listen to yourself more often. So we'll be getting into that a lot more. So thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe, share it with somebody, because you and I know somebody needs this. Peace. Until next time.